We are now joined from Ramallah by the spokesperson of the Commission of Detainees and Ex-Detainees Affairs, Shrateh. Welcome to Qnews. Thanks for being there with us. So what are the legal implications of this Israeli airstrike that killed the 15 aid workers, especially in light of the newly released footage which directly contradicts Israeli claims?
عفوا لم أسمع السؤال جيد.
Okay, I'll give you that question one more time. Salma was just telling us about this Israeli airstrike that killed the 15 aid workers. What are the legal implications of this strike, especially now in light of the newly released footage, which directly contradicts the claims that Israel made?
أنا أتمنى أن أكون قد سمعت السؤال جيدا ولكن إن كنت
Very well. If you were asking about the agreement reaching the Gaza Strip and the detainees, the matters are still harsh and complicated. There is no response from the Israeli occupations regarding the proposals by the moderators and those who are supervising the calmness and the swap. Israel is to continue committing more crimes against the Palestinian people through continued airstrikes and bombardment, and we should notably say that there is a green light by the United States of America to continue this war, and we hope in swift interventions and to try to stop the bloodshed of the Palestinians throughout Gaza. The matters have become drastically and catastrophic.
Okay, what I was really asking about was the attack on these emergency vehicles, which new footage now seems to indicate was a deliberate attack on emergency vehicles. How does the international community typically, how is it supposed to respond to attacks on clearly marked emergency vehicles and humanitarian personnel during an armed conflict like this?
I think that the international community is failed towards its responsibilities for the Palestinian people, and we've noticed how they targeted the aid workers' teams clearly and blatantly, and such deeds goes under the systematic terroristic actions, despite the international convention regarding to provide protection of the aid workers and the paramedic and relief workers. But Israel trying to deter the Palestinian people through creating a state of terrorism and horrifies these teams to provide their humanitarian duties against the Palestinian people. And for even those people to try to send or to do their duties for saving the Palestinian people. This is a very dangerous matter, as the Palestinian people today is paying the Israeli extremist prices. But quite soon, the international community will pay the price of the Zionist apartheid, as Israel is posing a really threat of the international stability as well as the international system throughout the half year and past. Israel has breached all the international conventions and agreements, and therefore for the Palestinian people should force Israel to halt the bloodshed and the interventions of the international conventions and agreements, and should voice and move away of being silent.
Okay, with over 1 1.9 million Palestinians now forcibly displaced. How sustainable is the current humanitarian response, and what risks do further displacement pose?
عمليات التهجير القائمة هي عمليات تهجير منظمة.
The displacement that is currently carrying out are systematic. Israel is trying to expel the Palestinian residents, and Israel knows very well that they are civilians, and they have no relations whatsoever of the fighting. Such displacement deeds would horrify and deprive all the families of those who are fled in light of the lack of food, medications, and even the milk for the children. The Israel knows this very well, and the operations of displacement and deportations of the residents goal is to evacuate Gaza from its residents, and it's an introduction to move the Palestinian people forward to evacuate their lands, and we are very known that Israel this is an Israeli mentality, and for the international community should be aware that as we've lived several stages of expel, confiscated lands and homes, and these matters are renewed in light of the Israeli occupation that push the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip who abandoned their lands, and even Israel is going so far as long as the international community isn't going to move to stop this war and this bloodshed. Israel will continue their processes.
Now, we've also seen footage of ongoing targeting of densely populated civilian areas. What does this tell us about the conduct and the objectives of the Israeli military operation?
Israel's goal is very clear. More killing, more destruction of the Gaza Strip, and more of bloodshed, proclaiming that it's launching war with the Hamas movement and the Palestinian resistance in the Gaza Strip, but in reality is different. The war now is running by only Israel. Israel is the one that did destroy, targeting civilians, and yesterday we've seen the civilian bodies were thrown out in the skies. All this, the extended bombardment throughout the past days, that with no signs of any engagement by the two parties. Israel is insisted to continue targeting civilians, bombarding their houses, proclaiming that they are searching for the Israeli detainees or to relieve them. And the question is that the matter is very clear. Israel, if they wish to the release of detainees, they should abide with the agreement sponsored by the mediators and the United States. It is U.S. should supervise clearly and on agreement that would fulfill the satisfaction of all the parties as well as the international community. And the swap should be carried out and to abandon such a very crazy mentality of Israel having the green light by the United States. And today we are in dire need for the international system, a garden throughout its agreement and the convention, and not to leave Israel dealing with such a perception that put the Palestinian people paying the price every day. The sole solution to stop the bloodshed that Israel should abide of the international proposals.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to have to cut you off there, I'm afraid. Shrateh, who is the spokesperson for the Commission of Detainees and Ex-Detainees Affairs, joining us from Ramallah. Thank you very much for being here with us on Q News.